Today we are crossing the Drake Passage, which is the roughly 1,000 kilometer stretch of ocean between the tip of South America and the beginning of Antarctica. And I was just out on deck, and we are currently experiencing 7-meter waves, which is about 21 feet. And we have, there's some pretty heavy winds out there. But we're going to get out there on deck and check this out a little bit more. We're here on deck 4 where our cabin is, so let's watch here, see if we get some really great waves. We've seen some terrific ones that come up, splash up over the window. Well, Tanya and I are out here. It's about 50, 60 mile an hour winds, and we're checking out the seas. We're supposed to be at about 7-meter swells, which would be about 21 feet or so. Actually, it's not quite as rough as it was before. We were in the restaurant, and we got like a sideways wave that came, and boy, did the silverware and the glasses and everything go flying. Pretty exciting, huh, Tanya?
Really exciting.
Really exciting.
I want to take a picture of this guy trying to get the best
we have a guy down here who's trying to get the world's best photo. He's a brave soul. He's got himself pretty well braced. He's down here where the Zodiacs are, where we'll be in a couple of days. Today we're on the lookout not only for albatross, which we've seen a couple out there, but we're also going to be looking for some whales. We just saw a presentation about some of the whales that are out here. Once in a while we can see maybe some humpbacks, mink, whales, if we don't freeze our butts off first. Tanya here, she's as tough as they come. Oh, please, come by. Whoops. Yeah, another tough passenger. Yeah. Okay, so Tanya, what do you think of all this?
Well, it's very exciting, and it's there's a lot of adrenaline flowing as you're holding on and trying to stay warm.
Yeah,
and
yes, that's
birds and try to stay on board. And
yeah, that's exactly right. And trying to keep your feet under you. Yeah. Exactly right. Look at some of these guys. These guys have really got it figured out there. They have some of these really high-powered lenses. Let's see if we can get what this fellow's looking for. I see what we're looking at. We're looking at some albatross out there. Yeah, these birds are absolutely amazing. They have wingspans that can go as much as 3 meters or so. And they just can be out here for months at a time, and they just ride the waves, ride the wind, and they expend very little energy while they're doing this. They have these tendons that these long wings support, and they just glide just forever. And so they really love these windy conditions. So for humans, this may not be too great, but for the albatross, oh my God, this is just hog heaven for them. Joe Cockrum, our resident ornithologist, who points out that there are some wandering and some, what are the other kind of royal albatross that are out here? And how can we tell the difference, Joe?
So the wandering has the white on the shoulders. You see the forewing, like the upper part of the shoulder on the wandering is white, whereas the northerns have a more solid black on the upper wing. So when you see them together, it really stands out. So yeah, that's the wandering coming over there now.
Yeah.
Just riding the wind so well. This is perfect conditions for them. This is what it's all about to be a wandering albatross, is cruising around, letting the winds power them around the oceans.
And they just love this, don't they?
Yep, perfect conditions to cover a large distance. They're so big and heavy, it takes a lot of effort to flap their own wings and power themselves. So on a windy day, yeah, they let the weather do the work for them, much more efficient.
And how long can they stay out here?
They'll be out here for months at a time.
Months at a time?
Yeah, and young ones, a young one that's left the nest will be out here for maybe 4 or 5 years before it ever touches land again. They can settle on the water, they can rest on the water, but the only reason they need land is for something solid to lay an egg on.
And what kind of food are they getting out there?
So they're looking for squid mostly. Squid that have died after mating will float up to the surface. They'll get squid eggs on the surface, maybe fish eggs, dead fish, anything they can find. Any fish-based scraps on the surface, but they can only feed on the surface of the water. They can't dive down into it. So one of the reasons they follow the ship is to see if our propellers have spun anything up from a couple of meters down that would normally be out of access to them.
And there's obviously enough there for them.
It seems to be, yep, yeah, they're still alive and kicking. They feed very infrequently. They're very efficient when they're flying like this. They're not really expending much energy, so it's only, they don't need to feed all that frequently. They're super efficient, and what they do feed is very calorie rich. When they find food, it keeps them going for a little while.
Great. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Super. Well, it's very windy. I'd say we're probably experiencing those 60-mile-an-hour winds right now off the stern of the ship. But we're out here looking at these albatross, which are just absolutely amazing. My fingers are a little bit frozen to the camera, but and you probably can't see the albatross, but we're certainly here in these heavy seas, and if the albatross can dig it, so can we. Although I think they're a little bit better adapted to it. All right, I'm about ready to get blown off the deck, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to take cover before we get blown overboard, right, Tanya? Tanya's got the right idea. She's in complete defilade. Through the Drake Passage yesterday, and now, as you can see, the water is very calm, and we are now in Antarctica. We are in the South Shetland Islands, and we have stopped our ship because we are on a mission. Let me show you what's going on here. This is South Shetland Island. We have launched one of our Zodiacs down here, and what's going on is that there are about 400 people on our ship, and not all of them were, there weren't enough parkas, cold weather parkas for everyone, and since we're going actually out onto the ice starting tomorrow, that was going to be kind of bad news bears for a number of the people. So what they did was they arranged for another vessel to drop off some other parkas and leave them in a container outside one of these on the shore here at one of these islands. There's a Russian research station that's here. There go our Zodiacs now out to liberate our parkas for a number of people. Fortunately, Tanya and I got ours, but as you can imagine, that has been a big bone of contention here on the ship, as a lot of these people, the passengers, were justifiably so, were quite upset that, well, they didn't have a parka and they didn't bring a parka. They had nothing, some of them came from Southern California, had nothing but warm weather clothing, and thought, hey, wait a minute, we're going to be down here in Antarctica and hanging around on the ice and looking at penguins, but how can we do that in our Aloha shirts? So anyway, this the problem has been solved. It is a bracing. It's a little bit below freezing right now in the afternoon, and we got about a 30-mile-an-hour wind. So I'm going to give you another idea here of the South Shetland Islands. Here are some of the rocks out here and what this looks like. It's pretty desolate, but there has been a research station here for quite some time. Looks like a couple of different stations, and there's different research vessels that are out here. And there go our two Zodiacs to liberate our jacket. Well, Tanya is very excited. It looks like we've had a penguin sighting out here, and we're here with our resident geologist, Robin. Robin, what are we looking at out here?
Well, we are looking at some porpoises in the water that are porpoising.
What's that got to do with geology?
Well, I'm just mentioning that, but we're looking at volcanic island.
I get it. Thank you. I'm joking around here, but Robin is an expert in Antarctic exploration and actually spent several seasons down at McMurdo Station. Isn't that right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, and did her graduate work at Vanderbilt, and is an expert in this sort of thing.
I'm glad I have you convinced of that.
Well,
thank you.
I've listened to several of her lectures, and she's convinced me that she knows everything there is to know about this. And thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for being here. This is
So, Intrepid Explorer number 2, Tanya, has just explained to me that. What did you explain to me?
I think
We were talking about the bits of ice floating here in the water, and they are called
Bergie bits.
Bergie bits.
And my girlfriend's name is Bergie, so I have to send a photo to her.
Right. Exactly. So they're like little bits of icebergs. Bigger chunks are called growlers. So there you have that. And let me just point out that this island that we've been looking at over here, that has all of this glacier over here and all of this rock here. This is it's South Shetland Islands, plural, but this particular island is called King George Island, and it is the largest of the islands. So I guess that's something that young Prince George has to look forward to when he finally ascends the throne someday. Probably when I would imagine when we're gone, and he's got an island named after him here already in the South Shetlands. Maybe he can make a royal visit down here to the penguins. That might be the only people that care at that point. I shouldn't say that. Who knows? Well, one of our 2 Zodiacs is returning right now, and it looks like they're getting a round of applause. So apparently they do have what we hope are the parkas. If it doesn't go overboard, that would be a shame, wouldn't it, Tanya?
Oh, that would be a shame.
I hope they got the right boxes, because I understand there were a bunch of MREs that were also left here. But anyway, there's vessel number 2 out there. Let's see. Well, here comes vessel number 2 with the rest of the cargo. Let's see if they can make that all right. Oh, another round of applause from at least 2 people. And we'll see how this goes. What do you think, Tanya? Those parkas must be very. Oh my God! Oh, now that was a very courageous act. One of the crew members lifted one of the boxes above his head. He could have gone into the drink with that one.
It could have.
Yeah, but it's a good thing we have the safety officer over here. All right, now. Anyway, let me just finish with that little idea. Apparently, these jackets that they've retrieved are.
The Venture one.
They came from another vessel, which is a more higher class vessel, and these are Helly Hansen blue super parkas versus the orange ones that you see Tanya and I wearing. So I know they're all just fine. It's going to be just fine, but I'm sure there's going to be a certain amount of snob appeal to the people who get because we get to keep these apparently. Maybe we get to keep ours, but the other ones, they don't. So we'll see. Just all this little social nyet that goes on when you're on a ship. Okay, signing out for now.